This is MrElephant with the Night Panda. So welcome to today's stream. So we have a couple of interesting fights for you today. One of them is Naga versus Jester. The others are Rehoboam versus Thermopylae, and we'll have a couple of other fights as well. So we'll go ahead and get started here. Before I do so, I want to include a link to the video on the stream channel here, and then we'll get started. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first fight today will be between Rehoboam and Thermopylae. Both will be playing Franks. I'm sure that is the correct version before. I just want to double check. Yep, that's it. Alright. And then Thermopylae. Alright. Franks it is. Now, I know that Thermopylae had a correction for that mill placement, but we're not going to include that version because it wasn't, submitted before the tournament began. So, Panda, do you see anything before we get started? Any correct Rehoboam?
No.
Okay.
I think
okay.
Yeah, things look all right.
Cool. All right.
It was just the sound thing. If you wanted to test that first.
I think it should be fine. I think it should be.
I mean, you're still cutting out on occasion for me at least. I'm not sure if it's the same on the stream.
Okay, maybe if people start joining and saying that it's a problem, then I may go back and look at it in a little bit. But right now, let's go ahead and try and get started, and then we may take a look at it here in a little bit. So, Rehoboam, okay.
Sure.
Let's go ahead and get started. So how long have you actually been working on Rehoboam, Panda?
Well, I started scripting in 2020. Wasn't it 2020? Let's see, now it's 2022. Yeah, I started scripting in 2020, but I didn't really. I didn't have any kind of prior coding experience or anything, so, and I didn't know of the Discord forums or anything for the first long while. So the first versions of Rehoboam wasn't really anything like the AI it is today. And then the first released version I think was in the summer of 2020.
Was that version 1.6? I think that was your 1.6 version, right?
No, that was 1.51. That was the first official version.
I don't remember that version, but might have been. I could have missed it for some reason.
it's not. It wasn't one to remember, so. It was about the level of the HD hard AI, or just the hard AI, I guess. Was the level of it, and the reason I didn't release any prior versions was that this was the first version that played team games.
Oh, that's cool. So, how did you actually begin learning how to script? And did you did Leaf kind of help you with everything, or did you have like, how did you kind of learn basically all this advanced knowledge that you're able to do with Rehoboam? Because he includes.
I didn't really know anything. What did you say?
Oh no! Please, I interrupted, so apologies on that.
Well, the first half year, I just I guess the first iteration of Rehoboam was just some of the training AIs that many people probably know. It was basically just
Bear the Great.
Yeah, exactly, stuff like that.
Cool.
I just before I continue speaking, I just come to think of is this your laptop you're streaming on?
Yes. Oh, that's
yes,
right.
You know what I'm getting at here.
Yes. Okay. I know that you say that I go too fast on. So the question is.
I think for this particular matchup, it might not change the outcome, but
okay. Yes, I understand what you're going for here, but we don't have access to Philosopher at the moment, so I guess that since you wanted to speak, if you want to stop right now, now is the time to say it, because we're only 7 minutes into the game here. But if,
if anyone is watching the stream, what we're referring to is the fact that that MrElephant's computer is unable to
runs too fast.
Play with Rehoboam's micro, because it's it has some weird thing where it runs the script almost twice as fast as any other computer I've ever been testing it on, leading to some very serious bugs. And apparently Rehoboam can't attack until I don't think it attacks with its ranged units at all, actually. When I tested it earlier.
We'll have to take another look here. I don't. We don't really think that.
I can.
It should be.
I can already see it's bugged.
No.
It hasn't built a second lumber camp. It's long distance mining. I'm pretty sure Rehoboam is severely bugged already here.
So it's got the has one lumber camp up here, and then down here for. So do you want to go ahead and call it and hope for and hope that Philosopher can stream it?
I think we should wait for Philosopher.
It's probably going to win.
It's just silly to play a severely bugged version though when it's.
I've never had a problem running Rehoboam. I know that what you're saying, that it might not be as efficient, but I've never had. He's always been the top AI, even on my computer. So if I'll call. Do you want to call it or not? Final. Yes.
Yes. Let's.
Okay.
Let's just run another match. I think it's.
So, for everyone watching that match, that version is, but we may still have to run it on my computer because I haven't actually been in contact with Philosopher for a couple days now. So I may have to actually run it eventually, but hopefully that's not the case. But so in the meantime, let's go. So hello, Rondi. Thank you for joining us. But the reason was I think that you're saying that my computer runs way too fast for some reason. So, Leaf was telling me
your computer runs the AI script like 60 to 70% faster, which leads to the units basically anything that's timing based will be thrown off if it's not customized to computers reading the scripts that often.
Okay.
So, for example, the ranged units will be told to shoot before they finish their attack animation. They will be forced to move or shoot again, so they will never shoot as long as the DUC macro is active.
So in the meantime, let's watch a different fight, since that might not be the best. Let's watch maybe Naga versus Jester, and I know Naga can play any Civ, but let's take another look on Jester. I think that AI can play any Civ as well, but I want to double check. And maybe you know more.
Sure.
More than myself. So.
I don't know. No.
So
but we can just check.
I'm double checking here, everyone. So give me a second. I read on it. And maybe I left myself a note on the tournament thread. So that's always a place to check. So Fourth Wind. Oh, it's Jester. I keep on calling. I didn't say anything under there, but Civs. It's up to date, meaning that it supports all Civs, including the new Sicilian Civ and the other. So it should be able to play anything. So we can just do random. We can actually do full random. Full random or random. It should be fine either way.
I think it just means if it's normal random, then they can't have the same Civ. I think that's the difference.
And it has to be mirror. I forgot. Yeah. So I'm just going to do this random and then mirror. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So this so it looks like we're playing Magyars. So let's go ahead and get started. So this is the first tournament that Naga is going to be in. So this is the first tournament match.
I'm really excited to see Naga here.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. I know a lot of individuals are looking forward to seeing Naga, so.
Did you watch it play yet?
I've only made sure that it was working. So I played like an 8-player fight to make sure that AIs were working and stuff. So I really haven't done anything with it because I didn't want to spoil anything, even for myself.
Yeah. Well, it seems it's gonna go for a scout rush if the chat is anything to go by.
Now that'll be interesting. So we saw a little bit of Jester the other day when it challenged UCS. It went for a scout rush as well. So maybe we'll see 2 scout rushes, maybe.
Seems likely. I can already tell. I'm not sure if this is a coincidence or not, but Naga compared to Promi, which it's. I mean, Promi said it was basically a major update to Promi at this point. And I can already tell by the first lumber camp that it's better than the average Promi lumber camp.
The lumber camp seems pretty close to the woods up here. It's very very, very close. Looks like the villager was not killed by the elephant down here, so it survived.
Yeah, I think also Promi is more would have probably done Loom before trying to kill that elephant.
I did not. Maybe we can see. Oh. Just seeing if it said a message before that. Maybe we'll see on the TC here. So building the mill, and it's able to do some, deer or zebra pushing. So that's always nice to see.
Yep.
So it has not researched loom yet. So.
Yeah, you always want to delay loom as much as you can, since it will, like, delaying loom by 20 mils is like between 50 and 100 extra rests, so you always want to delay that as long as you can, obviously not too long, so the scout, or so that vills will get lost to enemy scouts or elephants, but it's
now I didn't see
one of many things that can add up over time.
I didn't see who actually killed the zebra here, but it's no one's. Was it shot by?
The vills did.
Okay. I was kind of questioning whether the TC shot it, because I was like, if it was shot by the TC, I don't think that you can collect on the zebra that was shot by the TC. So,
It was just the nearby vills, though.
But we're focusing.
Correct. If the TC shoots a zebra, it will just die without the food on it.
So we're focusing a lot on Naga. Let's go over here and take a look at Jester. So it looks like an elephant has been brought in. Some elephant hunting. Jester has a little bit higher score. It's very early game yet. Oh, yeah, back and forth here.
I think that's just, I'm pretty sure the score is just the fact that Jester didn't lure zebra means that it would have extra scouting points at this point.
So,
but both AIs are getting to the fuel in reasonable times here.
Yeah.
Naga are a little bit faster. And since it took the zebra, it didn't have to build farms as quickly and send as many to berries. So a little more smooth from Naga here in the early game.
I noticed that Naga doesn't really have too many villagers when it researched Feudal Age, only around 20 villagers. That's a pretty small number when you're starting to research Feudal Age. But maybe it's all part.
I mean, 20 pop or 21 pop is the is like the normal scout rushing builds, so to say.
Yeah. So we're already starting to go for the scout rush here.
Yep.
So you predicted right.
Very solid early game. Very solid early game macro from Naga here, I must say. So far, can you take a look at the bottom lumber camp? I'm quite of a nerd with these. I would just like to see if like the bottom lumber camp of Naga, if it's well placed as well. I guess it's hard to see with the. I think it is, yeah, fairly well placed at least. Yeah, so just great macro so far, at least.
So are you nervous at all about later games, maybe Rehoboam versus Immortal or anything like that? Or are there any other competitors that you're kind of nervous about seeing in later matches?
Well, I'm mostly nervous about the matches having being played on your computer, to be honest.
Oh, dang it. You had to bring that up. Oh, that's funny. We'll try to avoid that
time to see the first...
if possible.
And we actually see some micro from Naga here. Who would have thought? I'm not sure if it made much of a difference there, since the numbers advantage was the main thing. changing the outcome of that fight. But
Yeah, I was looking at the upgrades, so it looks like Jester has a couple more upgrades than Naga on the scouts.
funny how the Amish just walked by each other there. Not sure how their DOC micro is supposed to work with that, but
I think that Naga might be afraid of the spearmen. That might be the reason why he's retreating.
yeah, he microed down the spear though. That was good. You definitely want to do that. Focus the spears first. Yeah, I think Naga is quite further ahead than the score tells. Can you look how much res Jester has?
It looks like he's so Naga's researching Castle Age, and Jester is much farther behind at researching Castle.
Yeah,
So.
I thought so. Yeah. So Naga's actually quite a bit ahead here. Not sure why Jester is doing men-at-arms here. Seems a bit odd with the armor composition of Naga here.
He might kill 1 or 2 villagers with.
Yeah,
maybe.
I guess maybe just for offensive purposes. But even still, I think just going more spears and scouts would yield the same results, but kill more vills.
Oh, he doesn't look like he got any of the villagers. Well, at least the men-at-arms and spearmen didn't go into the TC. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's decent micro from both AIs so far. Nothing like extreme, but just the basic stuff that you want to see with not dying to the TC and
Yeah.
not sending scouts blindly into spears. And the basic stuff is usually the most important with these things. Just not throwing away units.
So it looks like Naga is researching knights now, and
yeah,
I would expect to see another TC maybe pop up. There it is. So a corner TC back here. Now, would you have expected a TC maybe to go inside this area rather than down here inside this corner? Because gold would be closer, and
I like that TC. It's I mean, as long as it's next to a large part of wood there. I mean, I didn't see all of the map of Naga. If it could have been placed in a better spot, I guess the north of that wood line would have been better, and probably.
So it knows
where's the gold of Naga.
There's gold right over here. So.
Yeah, but it must be taking some other gold.
It's taking gold over here, west of the TC. So there's a large camp over here.
I guess the best TC location then would be to the wood right next to that gold mine.
Well, he put another TC down right next.
Yeah, that's fine as well. Though the other TC would have defended the eco better, but it's small things. It's still just solid macro overall from Naga here. Nothing really to scout at.
So let's go take a look at Jester over here, see what's going on with them. I will be. I have to step away just for a moment.
All right. In the meantime, I can answer your question, Randy. So whether the laptop speed affects other AIs, I haven't been able to test this since this is very, very specific to MrElephant's computer. I have seen other computers have difference in game speeds, but it's not been to this extreme, and for most people it's to the slower game speed size. My best bet would be that AIs like Immortal and Shadow would be the ones with the highest potential for being affected by this, but I'm not sure if they're as vulnerable to it as Rehoboam's code would be. So we can't see the entirety of the fight here, but it seems that Naga is retreating. Probably since Jester is doing quite a few spears in defense. So Jester is suddenly holding on here, though I would expect Naga to be quite far ahead in eco at this point already. Having 3 TCs up for quite some time now, and Jester only just getting up to Castle H. I think the unit composition of Jester here is a bit odd. It's going for a lot of different stuff, none of which are really what the Franks are strongest at. And also, it probably wants to have a few more bills on the farms, but it's doing a good job at defending.
I'm
so
back.
Far,
I apologize for having to step away. Sometimes you have surprise visitors at your house, so you. All right, that doesn't happen very much over here. So it looks like some knights are coming in with the a surprise early. Well, about 30 minutes into the game here, and Jester has gone up to Castle Age. So I'll read a couple of comments from the. So Rondi is asking if there are is there a coding approach difference between these two AIs? Well, I would imagine so. I don't know how long Screaming Coos has been working on on Fourth Wind / Jester. That's something that I need to ask him about, how long he's actually been working on that AI. So, and I apologize again for having to step away. It's very unlike I said, to get visitors like that down where I live. So, it doesn't happen very often. So, knights are quickly killing all the archers. Score difference is pretty.
Yeah, it does seem to be a little too over defensive with its knights here, Naga. It has plenty of enough of units to just mop the entire army up, but it keeps retreating the knights, which is a little worrisome for the military control overall. It's quite some time since I played Promi, but I don't think it does seem like Naga uses maybe a bit more DUC with its army control than Promi.
It does seem like Naga is being a little bit too defensive almost, but I guess it might be a little bit nervous about all these spearmen, maybe.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Naga not attacking here. I think that's a good call, not attacking, since the longer the game goes, the bigger the eco advantage would be. The thing I'm questioning is when Naga is defending, you want to commit to that defense and not just walk back and forth with your units. And it's not terrible or anything, but it's just had the army of Jester been like 3 times as big, it might have made the difference between winning or losing the fight here.
It looks like
But
Naga's...
I think Naga at this point is so far ahead that it's
yeah. The
yeah,
scores are
there
not...
shouldn't be any way for it to lose here.
The scores are much different. The armies are much different in size and strength. It should be a sweep from this point.
I think Jester is still 1 CC also.
That's correct.
Yeah,
So,
Jester just researched Pikemen after losing all of its spears here.
I'm going to speed this up because I think that the game is pretty settled at this point.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you again, Night Panda,
that's fine.
For joining us in today's stream.
You're welcome.
Whenever Jester resigns, I like this message: dying noises. That's kind of funny. Oh, all right. So let's play the second matchup.
Gotta add some salt chat to Rehoboam at some point. I feel like Immortal has already won the salty chat aspect of the game, though.
I've if you've ever used Immortal, you know what it says when it try. I was actually going to try to make a recommendation to the Maximal Being of probably removing that, because that might not be
What?
Oh.
That's the best part, man.
I guess I might be a little bit more conservative on that. Oh. But I guess people like what they like, right? So, you know, it's not really affecting the play of the game or the AIs or anything, so you know. And Immortal was a great AI, just like Rehoboam is great AI. You know, and Shadow is great AI. Probably the top 3 contenders right there inside this tournament. But who knows what will happen?
Yeah. Really excited about all the new development that kind of is inspired by tournaments like these. I haven't really had that much time, and I probably won't for the foreseeable future for big updates, but it's still nice just to see other people making big updates, and obviously a project like Immortal is something quite else for this community and for the future of AIs. I think in general, it's already probably overall the best AI of all time, and I think with some months of adjustment, I think it will cement that title, even if it's even if there's some serious contenders for this particular tournament.
Well, I think that you and Rehoboam and Immortal are kind of like the new generation of Promi versus Barbarian, almost. You're the new maybe rivals, so to speak, for the next 10 years, or however long it'll be. So we'll just have.
I'm not sure it will be like that. I mean, I think Immortal is just it's just better set up. Like it's overall it's just a more clever AI. I mean, Rehoboam, it does what it does well, but it's fairly stupid, and it's not really designed in a way where I think Immortal is designed in a way where the skill ceiling should be way higher.
Well, I know
things like adding new strategies to Rehoboam, I think, is just gonna be so much more of a pain than Immortal because so many things in the model's code are sort of automatic, you could say, from what I understand.
Now, I know that Immortal and Rehoboam are not coded the usual way that, and I kind of brought this up during, Shadow's stream. You guys have like a compiler or some other means that you're using to actually,
I don't. The Maximal Being has. I just use regular code.
I thought that you had a compiler as well, since you only had one file. I mean, everything is included in Rehoboam. So, it's inside like one file.
Having one file is, that's possible for any script, really.
Well, there's so much inside Rehoboam's script that it makes it unlikely, more unlikely, I'd say, to be that way, almost. And there's so much duck and everything included.
There's no limit to how many rules you can have in an AI in a single file, though. I think it's just personal preference if you have it split into several files. It certainly hasn't got anything to do with having a compiler or not. It's just for me it's easier to find stuff, but that's all there is to it, really.
When I look inside Rehoboam's file, there are 92,000 lines of code inside there. I just can't imagine, how you are keeping track of everything inside there.
Imagine the first thing you have to know about those 92,000 lines of code is that probably like 70,000 of them are just pure trash. And if I had known what I was doing from the start, it would probably only be like 20,000. But I didn't, so most of it is just way more spaghetti-fired than it has to, and is not very efficient coding at all. As I said, I don't have any kind of coding background, so unlike the Maximal Being, so I think everything is just not that streamlined and not that effective use of rule space, you could say. But it still works. But having 90,000 lines of code surely isn't a marker of elegance or complexity, but more a matter of desperation with not being able to make the code efficient the first time.
Yeah, it's definitely a I'd say that, but you can't write 92,000 lines of code in a day. It takes time, it takes thought. You're obviously thinking about things when you're writing things, writing code down and everything. So it took more than a day to build that bridge, so to speak. So it took planning and everything
I can give you a few examples of why it's not very efficient. So like my lumbercamp script, for instance, is about 1,000 lines of code, and it's actually almost the same lumbercamp script, which are copied and used two different places in the file, and it's the same with mining camps and with mills, and so already there we have like 4,000 lines of wasted space, and then basically the entirety of Castle Age has like 3 different strategies, which are almost identical copies of each other, with just small adjustments here and there. So that's probably like 15,000 lines of wasted code space as well.
Well, one thing's for certain, and that's that Rehoboam, no matter how many lines of code and however much, it is an impressive AI, and I hope that you do continue working on it in the future. So, and I don't think I'm alone in saying that. So,
I'm glad you say that, and I don't think I'll stop working on it. But I surely won't have as much time in the coming years as I've had the the first year of scripting, since I have a full-time job now and will continue to do so. Maybe we should talk a bit about the game here. It's a very different game.
Yeah, no,
so
I was just noticing that you know, Naga's going for the archers here, and he's going for that early. I don't think that, you know, Jester's going to be able to take this on. He's got one watchtower over here, but I don't really think that's enough to, you know, take on all these archers. This is really going to hurt.
Yeah, I think Jester had a worse start to this game than the prior. It seemed to have more retasking of its spells overall.
The Dark Age, going up in the Feudal Age, it took a lot longer for Jester to get to Feudal Age than Naga. So.
Yeah. Also, it seems like Naga is moving its army in a more clever way than Promi would have done here. Like the way it walked around the tower and attacked from a different angle. Obviously, it's not like a lot of fancy hit and run micro used, but the just the army movement there meant it actually found a more efficient attacking angle.
Looks like Promi's doing a fairly good job in scripting this new AI. So.
He has to make it ignore the lumber camp, though. Or
yeah.
I mean, he doesn't have to, obviously, but it would it certainly would have done more damage if the rangers would just walk past the lumber camp.
Now
I'm not sure if he uses patrol or exactly how the units work, but. It doesn't seem to use no attack stance like Rehoboam or Immortal would in this situation.
So Naga is retreating with a couple of his troops, and he's going after a couple of the villagers with the remaining grouping. I'm unsure why he retreated with all these other units, but
I can't tell you. I don't really know how Promi or Naga works. I'm terrible at reading other people's AIs. I'd like to be better at it, especially with such nice people as Promi. He would probably be happy to share some of the code, how it's structured.
Yep.
I remember just in my early days of scripting, I just kind of gave up on trying to read other people's AIs. Only after using a lot of DUC, I think I would actually be able to understand some of it.
Yeah, I know that before the tournament started, I was having a lot of difficulty getting Eidolon to work, getting up the Castle Age. So I know that I reached out to you regarding that, and it was just a simple, you know, change in the code. But for some reason, the two separate pieces, you know, weren't triggering the Research Castle Age. So you were able to at least decipher something like that. So you're able to look at it and you know, go for it. So that was pretty helpful. And you say and Eidolon actually beat the first round contender inside the tournament. I don't know if you saw that match or not. So
I saw that it won. I didn't see all of the fight. I've been at work all week, so I haven't really had time to watch that many games, unfortunately. But yeah, I saw that it worked.
Yeah, that was.
I think you're giving me a bit more credit than I deserve for that, though. I just suggested that you make a new rule to, which was basically just like, if it can go Castle Age, go Castle Age. That seemed the simplest way to solve the problem.
Yeah, I was desperate at that point because there wasn't, and the creator had kind of, you know, given up on the AI, but you know, the AI still performed pretty well, so you know, it was worth it in the end. So.
Yep. Can you take a look at the Jester's pup here? I'm
Yeah.
curious as to,
Let's take a look at the villager pop. So it's 54 to 63 here, and he's researching unique units. Now, where's his castle at? Oh, it's all the way over here. It's a this is an odd placement for the castle. Is he trying to protect the relic?
My best bet is that this castle was just placed with the like the standard build command of the game, which will just place it some random spot within within your maximum town size. And I think actually the semi-controlled systems for building placement are very good for castles, because usually you want them in the front of your base, and it's quite easy to use those. I think most semi to top AIs uses the, like, I think it's place point you would use, or something like that, where you just, or there are some commands at least which are pretty easy to use, where you can just make it place the castle in the front of your base.
You can use a little bit of user patch to place it further up.
It's not like completely DUC. It's just it's some midway commands that you can use.
Ahu Lane does that a little bit with buildings and the building of the castles. It's the set placement data, and you focus on the player, and then you build however much closer that you want to. So, chat, if you're interested. So that's an example, chat, about how you do that. So, welcome everyone to the chat. I know that I've been focusing more on the game. So, hello, Games God. Thank you for joining. So, thank you, Fireball, and hello to you. Glad that you're here. Screaming Coos, glad that you're able to make it. Jester's inside the battle right now, so you're challenging Naga.
Yeah, and I think this is the right time for Jester to attack here. It kind of has to do damage since it's 1 TC against 3 TC. I am a bit concerned if it can kill the knights, then the army of Jester should be able to do a lot of damage here. And it actually looks like it's successful, because, as we mentioned before, Naga seems to be too indecisive when using its knights. It keeps running back and forth, so
Are you nervous?
They don't commit enough to the fight.
Are you nervous about this castle at all regarding the organ guns?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you don't want the organ guns going anywhere near that. I think actually the ideal thing to do here would just be to kill the TC with organ guns, since they do quite a lot of damage to buildings. But it doesn't seem like Jester has coded the use of organ guns as siege, or how you would say it.
Yeah, it looks like that Jester is a little bit nervous about attacking. Maybe we can.
And it shouldn't be. It's got like or Naga has almost no army at this point, so Jester could probably actually turn this game around if it just fully committed and brought some siege as well. But it's kind of throwing too much army away for how far away Naga is in the eco here. So I think it's still good, looking very good for Naga, which just hit Imp.
Or maybe oh, what is that? Oh, story.
Yeah, nice castle positions for Naga here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a Faitoria. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
well,
yeah. This is.
I guess that's mostly for shits and giggles. I don't think it's necessarily the best bet here, but
Yeah, this is.
who knows?
I guess
They
that.
aren't that bad, but they're usually not worth it on Arabia this early in the game.
I think that Naga is pretty confident in his position at this point. I mean, he went for maybe a couple of unique units, and he's kind of cleaning up a little. The score is so different at this point that, you know, it's going to be very difficult for Jester to make a comeback. So
Yeah, you can really tell by Naga's playstyle that it's a it's a big promy update of sorts. Like it's the very kind of defensive and boomy with not too much army control, though probably a bit more army control than promy.
So I'm going to
I would say the main difference is.
Please,
should I continue?
Yeah. Please continue. I'm just going to speed it up a little bit. I think that this maybe this.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I think the main differences that I can see with Promi and Naga so far is maybe some small macro improvements overall on Naga, and some extra DUC macro of the military. Some of it working out well. I think especially the small engagements in Fuel Age seems to be working out better for it, but the Castle Age micro of Knights may be working a bit worse. So it's hard to say overall if it's stronger, and if so, how much stronger it would be than Promi, but it certainly is playing very solid, and I'm looking forward to see it face up against I think it's Shadow is gonna be its next opponent.
Yes, so Naga won this, so it goes on to play Shadow next. So that's what's going on. So that means that Jester has been knocked out of the tournament. So, but good job to it. It played a good round against UCS. So that was, yeah, it's best of 3, Roundy. So best of 5 will just make it too long. So we're going. So Night Panda, do you have time for at least one more round before, or how many more games are you willing?
Which set were you thinking?
Well, Electricity was really hoping to see Odette versus Last Rites. So maybe we could play that for him. Are you
sure.
Okay with that? Or we could do if you want.
We could do that.
Or we could do Bambi versus Damien, which is a round 2. I know we could do that one as well, but either way, so it really doesn't make a difference to me. So.
Let's do the first one then of those two.
Okay, let's do it.
The
Odette versus
Odette.
Last Rites. All right, here we go. And I know that Last Rites only plays Bohemians, so if I can. And Odette, I think it can play anything, but I have to double check on the Odette thread. You always have to make sure before you start up the game, because I don't want to miss anything here. So it supports every Civilization, User Patch, and Definitive Edition. So I think we should be good. I'm going to check the chat, see if they said anything. They didn't, so I think we should be good. So
yeah, I think there's a small chance that it won't support the latest two though, since
maybe not.
I think they were out after the last update to that was made, but
so maybe we should play
yeah,
play something. Maybe we should pick random instead.
Yeah, maybe I think pick random, and then if it's one of the newest two, maybe just restart or something.
This should be fine then.
I can.
Okay. Burmese. All right.
Yeah, the last update of Odette was November 7th. I don't think the latest two civs were available back then, but I'm not sure.
So this is pretty exciting. I know Odette already has a message on his screen. I want a wall. I'm scared.
Well, that would be fun to see. I think the matches will be better if Odette plays more defensively, since Last Rites, to my knowledge, doesn't really get online until fairly late in the game.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I know that, you know, SD likes to go for those skirmishers and, you know, the early feudal rushes, so to speak, so you never know what to expect from his AIs.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think actually Odette is probably one of the more aggressive ones. I know it will often sacrifice build production for army production in feudal age, at least. Yeah, Odette overall a solid AI with a lot of DUC micro. It also has some hit and run micro, though I think it still falls short of the of Shadow, Rehoboam, and Immortal. But maybe it will get further improved. Hopefully SD is well and will be back stronger than ever at some point.
It always makes me kind of curious about which AI had hit and run first. Which AI kind of did that type of stuff before any other AI. It's kind of an interesting...
Barbarian.
I know Barbarian had a lot of interesting code, but I didn't know if it was the first hit and runner, or if it was, you know, if it got the idea from someone else. But that is kind of interesting.
I think. Yeah. Obviously, I wasn't around back then, so I wouldn't really know. Probably Leaf or someone would know, but it's the only one that I'm aware of from the in quotes old era to do it.
Because
obviously it was something that was only made possible shortly before Barbarian started doing it, so there wasn't that much time for people to adjust to it. And I think Barbarian only really used it for countering melee units and raiding villagers.
Because I was wondering if
only the hit and run part of it.
I was wondering if the Horde did it at all, and Barbarian got it maybe from the Horde or something like that. But to my knowledge, I don't think the Horde has hidden run in the code. So
Yeah, you can also debate when would you call it hit and run. It's
yeah. So
but at least Barbarian was one of the first to do it.
Something interesting that I don't know if you saw, but I provide, and this is more of a to you, Night Panda. I sent you a link to some of the older place where older AIs were stored. It's called AIK Heaven. Some of you know it, some of you don't, but it's a lot of it's a place where antique AIs are stored. So if you ever want to check out, antique AIs, some of them, go out to Age of Kings Heaven, the blacksmith, and take a look at it. So I know that you didn't, when I was kind of reaching out to you, you hadn't really heard of it. So that's where you can look at some of the older AIs. So I'll put that inside.
I think I would be I'd be happy to or excited to look at Delivery Man. I haven't ever played with it, but I heard of it. I think it's the kind of old AI that I would enjoy watching.
Delivery Man. I have not heard of that AI. That's
yes, he delivers a package.
He delivers
from what I've heard.
He delivers a package?
Yes.
Well,
yes.
Is it the friendly sort of
package? A very
big
package.
Is it a friendly package, or is it?
I wouldn't consider it friendly.
Is it a type of like Christmas present? Is it something that I look forward to, or?
It's the kind of Christmas present where you go to someone's house, or at least you walk in front of their house, and then they realize you brought your house with you, and you just sort of place it on their lawn. That kind of present.
Oh, that type of present.
Yes.
That makes friends quickly. Yeah.
Unless it's an attempt to take over your house, then it's maybe not.
Maybe not. So it's the.
I haven't ever watched it, but I just heard of it, and I thought that would be a sight to see.
So
that and Gomel, I think, would be my favorite antique AIs.
So first fight between Odette and Last Rites. I'll try to get back on track here. Last Rites is a little bit behind at the moment, but both AIs are have researched Feudal. So Last Rites is kind of going for a couple of skirmishers over here. And military count for Odette is just 4, which is kind of surprising, knowing that it likes to go for early attacks and everything. So we'll have to see what happens.
It seems to be a bit indecisive with its unit choice here, Odette, going for both ranged units and a staple here.
So I did not notice this before, but Odette is attacking with scouts in the bottom of Last Rites base.
Then it makes sense, I guess. Making scouts and then outskirms. I guess that makes sense.
Last Rites is currently garrisoning skirmishers, not really producing spearmen.
Yeah, without spearmen, Last Rites is basically
he's in trouble.
Gonna get killed by these 4 scouts, at least if they're microed, probably, which currently they aren't. Not sure if again, I have no clue how Odette is structured with its micro of DUC units. It looks, my best bet would be that there's some kind of bug here, since the scouts aren't attacking the the other parts of the map. I can't rule out actually that an AI like Odette may be influenced by your computer as well. Sorry to bring it up again. But yeah.
I haven't ever had trouble with my computer running AIs. The top AIs are always the top AIs, even on my computer, folks. So, there's no doubt that Barbarian will win the fight if, you throw Barbarian into a fight with Chromie, or, Barbarian to a fight with, name the other AI, the second AI. So, Barbarian will probably, of course, I usually have, some of my favorite AIs and everything like that. But the strongest AIs are always on top most of the time. So, and we're playing at just fast speed here. It's 2.0.
So we have Odette who just destroyed the mill with the scouts, but it looks like they're satisfied with their plunder, not wishing to go any further.
Yeah,
wanting to live in peace here.
The horses just want to eat the grass.
I like how yeah, you can also see the horses, like they do a little victory dance. Obviously, killing the mill has been a hard day's work. And, they obviously need to clean their hoofs after scratching on top of that wooden block all day.
I don't. No.
Not sure how long such a hoof cleaning will take. Maybe an entire age, judging from the last
there they go.
few minutes.
There they go. They're going for it now. They're after those skirms. Skirms are scared. Now they got one of the scouts.
Yeah. I guess this is enough skirms to deal with 3 scouts. So Last Rites is still in this, but it's looking tough.
It's looking tough because
two knights can kill all those skirms.
Odette is already inside Castle Age and training knights. So
yeah, I think we should give Last Rites the admin win here. Odette was promising us walls, and it failed to deliver. So I think that should be instant admin loss right there for
instant
breaking
disqualification.
a promise.
Instant disqualification for Odette. Sorry, Esty.
Obviously.
we were hoping to see walls.
I hope Immortal will show some cool TC walls at some point in this tournament.
So Odette says that he
I know
feels
it's capable of making them.
Odette says that he feels nervous. Oh, let's go see what the chat has to say. Shadow thinks something is funny going on. It's probably something you said earlier. Some people are upset about Jester losing. Games God and Arandi. And Fireball did confirm that Barbarian was the first attack and retreater. So yeah, just the history of AIs. I'm kind of interested in that. I love old AIs and looking at them and collecting them. I'm an AI collector. I don't think very many other people like collecting AIs. So Odette building another TC over here by the gold, building some more farms. It looks like his eco is going up, and he's going for the attack. This is looking rough here for Last Rites. But it looks like there's going to be a big old skirm battle.
Well, that was about the best fight the skirms could take, at least. The knights walking back and forth.
It looks like
Yeah, I think
this is
this game is probably gonna go one way from here.
yeah, this is. I like how Last Rites, though, even though he's probably going to lose this battle, is keeping his skirms under the cover fire of the TC. That's a pretty interesting method of kind of even protecting the skirms, almost giving them some extra cover fire. So that is a neat idea. And it looks like they're actually taking out some of the knights if you look closely. But they're getting.
I think what's happening is the TC is taking out the knights, and the skirms are throwing wet noodles at the knights.
Oh, that might be too.
But sure.
On that note, let's speed up the fight.
Yeah, and Odette is more advanced, so it has through knowledge and technology has learned to throw like semi-erect noodles instead.
Oh god!
Which can actually do some kind of damage.
Ooh.
Yes, this is a this is an adult stream. Sorry.
This is an adult stream. Ooh. Well, hopefully everyone.
My point just being that skirms don't do a lot of damage until they're upgraded.
Yeah. So it looks like on that note, Odette is about to win the fight here. So I think we can call it.
Fireball with the more politically correct wording here. Uncooked noodles, which was what I was what I meant. Yes. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Fireball. Thank you, Panda, for that. There's some sarcasm in my voice.
No problem.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get the second fight set up and go from there. So, Bulgarians. I hope they produce unique units. I want to see some unique units here. Am I being too hopeful in that? Panda? You think that...
say again, I was reading something else.
Do you think that Odette will be producing unique units in this round with Bulgarians? Or do you think that he'll be...
I think the game will be over before that.
Oh, dang. So, I've got some deer around, said Odette, and a lady's power. What? Okay. Okay. So Odette is excited for some reason about this fight. It's good to have a positive attitude.
Yep. I'm getting a lot of ideas for future trash talk doing this casting.
I'm glad that Fireball and Narandi are being a positive influence to you, Panda.
Yes. It's been a long day.
It's been a long day. Now
don't ever grow up.
Well, it's kind of a stressful day over here as well. Before
so actually, something I'd like to know about you, MrElephant.
Yes.
What do you do for a living?
Well, I work in finance. I'm just I'm boring. I'm in accounting and finance, so I know that. I think you said that you were studying medicine or were a doctor, but yeah, I'm even.
Yeah, I'm a doctor. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a I'm in accounting slash finance, and Age of Empires is kind of basically my hobby. I did have a couple of other hobbies, play piano. Um, that's why I was kind of excited about Leaf's video the other day about him making some music. So that was kind of cool to see that. And
Oh, what was that? I didn't see that.
he posted it inside the general chat about some music that he made or he played or he performed. So that was kind of neat to see that. And some other hobbies of mine. I play some table tennis, and I have a cat, Brandy. So that's about it. I'm pretty boring. I'm probably the most boring guy you guys know. But I like playing Age of Empires.
I think you're underselling yourself.
I don't think so. I mean, I did do something kind of interesting a couple months ago with I do play some Age of Empires 1, and I found a really old version of Age of Empires 1. So, and this is a shout out to Fatfish if he ever listens to this. Fatfish is an Age of Empires 1 player. We're working hard to find very old copies of Age of Empires 1. So we're reaching out to some of the creators of Age of Empires, and we actually got in contact with a couple of them. So the couple to name a couple. So I have to find my emails here, but give me a second. So we've been in contact with Bruce Shelley. So I don't know how many people recognize that name. So we've actually been in contact with him, and we were in contact with a couple of other creators. So we were in contact with Rick. I think his last name was Rick. Rick Goodman is what. So that was something else that we were. That's what I kind of work on inside my free time, is I kind of research that. So I know it's kind of boring, but I'm interested in it. I'm looking for the first AI file ever created. So the first actual, AI. So
yeah. Don't ever feel ashamed for being a giant nerd. That is a fact to be cherished.
Yeah, I've accepted it at this point. I am what I am. It's definitely, not something that gets you, makes you a fan of ladies or anything like that. But you meet some of the coolest people around here. So the Age of Empires 2 community, you guys are pretty awesome. I've been in a couple of different places, and you guys treat each other with the most respect, more than a lot of the other communities. So that's why I stick around here and make AIs and everything. I appreciate you guys having me on like this, so keeping me around. Enough about me, though. So Odette versus Last Rites. Odette is of course winning right now. I'm hoping to see something different here. Last Rites making a comeback. He's protecting himself with these houses, which is pretty cool. Um, I like the positioning of these houses in comparison with AIs that just have standard building. I think this is neat. So the up placement and other stuff like that, I think that's something that's pretty cool and unique to that can be customized for each AI. That Last Rites is kind of doing here. You've been kind of quiet. Where do you think? Where do you think about Panda?
Well, considering the houses, I think it's the ideal thing would be to build them just slightly further away from the TC, probably, so you can have a second layer of farms. I was thinking that, and also I was thinking the the Bills are doing some heathen ritual of walking between the lumber camp and the TC, obviously to ask the gods for more wood along the way.
I wonder if placing these houses closer together and making them kind of like a house wall, maybe like in this area, would have been more efficient. Closer together, like, less, like no tiles separating them. Putting them here, and then that would force, Odette to attack maybe over here or something. I mean, it's just an idea, but if you have the ability to script it,
you would have to use.
Sorry.
You would have to use another command entirely for that, though. Only the build line command allows for adjacent buildings like that.
Yeah.
And it certainly can be done. That's what Immortal is using for all buildings, I'm pretty sure. But it takes more of a generalistic approach to every single building being constructed in this way, and it has to be pretty fail-safe, because you might end up not being able to place the building at all otherwise. So I don't think those kind of things is something that should be the first things scripters focus on before, at least before they are able to beat the HD AI. I would say.
The HD AI.
I would say using the build line command for anything besides drop sites is probably not something that new scripters should be encouraged to before focusing on other stuff.
The HD AI is not an easy AI to beat, and and even the DE AI and Promi is even tougher. So it's just one of those things that it'll take a long time to learn how to code and stuff, and be able to learn all the commands and all that stuff before you can beat that style of AI, so to speak. So Ronnie's saying, is Last Rites bugged? No mining camp. Could be.
I don't think it built a mining camp the other games either. I mean, from what I've heard from Electricity, it's quite an unfinished project, Last Rites. Mainly meant to just survive until it can get its big monk strat going.
So something cool in the future.
Maybe
if we had something going on, maybe it would be kind of cool having like Sandy Peterson or someone like that maybe talk about AIs maybe in the future, about the development of AIs or stuff like that. If we could get like the CDAI going, maybe a battle, and maybe have him on stream talking about maybe in the future if somebody could get that organized at all. I was thinking about seeing if that would be possible maybe in the future. we got his email or something like that. But maybe that'll be too hard. But you never know. You never know.
He actually, I did see an interview with him where he was talking about the Peterson AI, basically just saying how terrible he thought it was.
He went through several iterations
but
of Peterson before it was submitted. There, one of the funniest versions of Sandy Peterson AI before it was released said, "Sandy Peterson is no longer my hero. I resign." So that one was kind of funny.
Yeah. But yeah, I think he also talked about how it was like he didn't have anything to test it against, obviously. No other AIs to test it against, and also there wasn't really any kind of meta back then, so he just had to guess before the game was released how it was going to be played. So with that in mind, I think it's not really fair to judge him on anything like today's standards for AIs.
Yeah, there are two other AIs that so maybe we should focus back on Odette, but we can talk about that before we leave. But Odette currently attacking.
I mean, it's a pretty similar game to last game. I don't think we're
okay. Yeah,
I don't think we're missing too much we didn't say last game.
Yeah, so maybe to finish that conversation. So before AIs were released,
we were still in the wet noodle part of the game.
We're still in the wet noodle category. So
yes.
So before the AI was released, there were at least the game was released. There were at least two or three internal AIs that were pretty good that were not released with the final game. That's Doug AI, that's Angelo AI, and there's Mark Toronto AI. But Peterson AI was so much better than those other three that they weren't really, that competitive with Peterson. So they were Peterson was kind of beating them up, so to speak. Angelo AI was designed for...
I didn't know anything about that.
Angelo AI was designed for version 9 prototype, and it designed it created units based off a 55 population game. So you can imagine that's much different than Age of Empires 2 with 200 pop. So or 75 population for that. So so Last Rites gang, we'll kind of speed it up here, and maybe if other people are interested, sometime I can stream some of those other older AIs if they are interested in it.
Yeah, just credit to Odette as well. Like the pressure it's putting on here, quite solid. The ability to recognize that it can jump the TC when it did, also quite solid.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that is actually quite tricky to get right. I would say, knowing how much to commit with armies like this. So well done.
So good job to Odette. I know that, and good job to Electricity. I know that he spent a long time working on this AI. It's a good AI. He did a good job beating Oddjob first round. So Odette is just a hard AI to beat. So it's not unexpected that Last Rites lost like this. So I know that we're probably hoping for a little bit more, probably to beat Odette or something like that. But you can't win every single battle. So. So we're going to call it here, and maybe we'll give it a break for today, and maybe I'll join you guys back here tomorrow. So I thank you guys for all joining me here with Panda today. It was very interesting hearing him speak about it, and hopefully when Rehoboam starts the fight, you know, maybe we can use someone else's computer for that fight or something like that. If I can't host it, maybe someone can volunteer. Maybe you can volunteer and stream it yourself. Panda, I don't have any issue with you hosting hosting some fights or whatever, or someone else. Fireball, I don't know what you're laughing. Learned some cool stuff and had some good laughs. Hopefully, I don't know which part of the conversation you're laughing at, but hopefully you did enjoy it, and that goes for you too, Rondi, and the 8 other viewers who are tuned in here. So thank you for joining. Thank you everyone for listening, and we'll continue the tournament tomorrow. So I'll see you then.
Yeah, see you. Thanks for having me.